All right, Wednesday, 29th of March. Let's take a look at gold, euro, dollar, Dow Jones, Bitcoin. Now, guys, as you know, on Monday, I said Tuesday was a swing day for gold. All right, so that's your Tuesday. All right, market coming up to the weekly pivot. Now, yesterday, recall, I said look out for the US hours, okay, because the US hours are going to be important. Yesterday, I said, and I did say we've got a few breakout moments. All right, so this was one zone and the market broke out, came nicely into the weekly period. That's your astro hour. That's the weekly pivot. That's your astro hour. That's the weekly pivot. That's your astro hour. That's the weekly pivot in Asia. And I said look out for 1:30 a.m. UTC +3, okay, and that's your 1:30 a.m. Why? Because 1:30 a.m. that was like where the juice ran out. And that's your sell-off, okay? But if you sold at the weekly pivot yesterday, because there was only two levels to sell at, one was here. If you sold here, you already knew there was the option of coming up here, so you should have taken precaution. Your stop loss was either going to be up here, above this purple zone here, and you were going to wait it out, or you waited for the New York session ending, and then boom. Okay, so that's it. Now today I'll put the astro hours here. You can see I've got nothing until New York. All right, that is it. What does that tell you? We could be going downtown all day. Okay, so this is going to be your zone. Now remember, I had levels down here before. All right, remember the 1962 level I had last week? All that was done. Okay, and then we had the 1950 level. See how that was done? Okay, Monday, Tuesday, we're in Wednesday. Okay, so we know we want it to go down, okay, because that was a sell zone. We're in a triangle. You see the market support is at 59.18. If you're using the 8 a.m. strategy, you know from yesterday, 1962.63 was going to be important, okay, and now we're kind of like breaching that, okay. And you can see gold is coming down. Now everybody's bullish on gold, and I understand why. But there's a time to buy and a time to sell. And if you're day trading, it's not the time to be bullish on gold. All right, because it's done it. Remember, we said we'd get up into this zone, and this was the sell zone. And last week, I said these days were swing days. Remember, Monday and Thursday. So Monday does it, Thursday does it, okay? And now we're on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So I said on a pull-up, it's good to sell because Tuesday is a swing day. Now, if this falls down, what have I got in front of me? I've got the HCL1 1915. So you put a line on 1915 down here, okay? 1915. Now, remember, this is a daily chart. So on a daily chart, you've got to adjust if there are things happening on the day, right? So there certainly is. Also, you understand that this 1920 zone here, we've got an indecision bar, and that's your manipulation bar here. So the market's got room to come into that 1915, and it's not mucking around, it's there. Okay. So we've got room to come down and beyond there. Now, if you're using 80 AM strategy, you can also check your weekly, but the week is pretty low. It's all the way down at 1865. So I'm not going to put that in there just yet. Okay. But you understand, I understand 1865 is very, very logical. Okay. Because we've got gaps here, and this is it. That's your inducement. The market should break this. The market should come back into this zone. It should. All right. Worst case scenario, we should be heading sooner or later into 1870s. Okay, so no buying at the tops here. We should be sizzling down. Then we've got trend line liquidity, and this is your weekly inducement. It should shatter it down, bring us into 1750 zone. Then we can think about buying around 1750 or even lower, where there's the gap here to fill it out. Okay, so then we can make a move up. Things will be at a discount, and then when they are, we'll go in for the long swing. But buying at the tops is not what we do. Okay, so now all you got to do is follow that through. This is going to sizzle down, Below it, we've got the 39.40. That's 1872.63. Okay, 1872.63 is way, way down there. So once we get here, we'll think about it. Okay, right now it's just too far down. In the meantime, where are you going to manage your trades? You're going to manage them with respect to yesterday as well here. This is why the market is pausing here. Okay, you see that? Why? Because this was the cause for the breakout, okay, which led all the way up here, and the market actually closed above the weekly pivot there, okay? So it kind of took everybody's stop out as well. So if we come back up, we need to sell, all right? The problem is this: we don't have an astro hour until here. So the market's either going to muck around or we're going to go back up, okay? And then we're going to push down. Okay, so that is the option. Those are the options that could possibly happen. All right. So that's it. Or the market just keep going down. Okay. It could keep going down. I don't have strong aspects here. What I can maybe stick in here is a 1238, which is 1245, let's say here. All right. There, maybe we can stick that one in there. Other than that, you're going to have to wait for New York. All right, and that's going to be, that's the opening there, which is going to be like about 4:30 is the opening. That's going to be 9:30 a.m. in New York. Okay, but like I said, I'm not really going to be, hooked on doing anything until this zone, and this is pretty crowded, as you can see. Okay, so here we're going to look out for stuff, okay, because it looks like from 7 to 9 we're going to have some action Jackson period, but that's a period we need to use to trade. Okay, so if you sold off, you should definitely have covered your trade, taken some profit, okay, taken some money off the table. Now what I want to mark in is the high of Asia. Whoopsie daisy, come here. Is the high of Asia there with the weekly, where the manipulation happened and the breakout happened, which is going to be that zone again. All right. So if we do pull up, here is also good. Okay, but this is a minor swing. So going back up here and then selling off is not a bad idea. All right. If that happens, make use of it. Also, guys, look at that. This is tomorrow, 2:30 a.m. I'm going to mark it in, so be mindful. Let's take a look at the euro dollar. Euro dollar, here we are. Now with the euro dollar, remember, okay, I told you about the swing days, okay, Tuesday and Monday. Monday, this was the low of the week. Okay, that's Monday. I said Tuesday high, market sizzling down, and that's your 130, and that's your closing there. All right, so if you wanted to, you could have taken those highs. All right, so that's your Tuesday happening there. So you can see market going up into Tuesday, and we talked about it. I said there are gaps to fill in there, so it should come up, and it has come up slightly above this zone here, which I can understand why, because that was the indecision here, I think. No, not the indecision, but the manipulation bar was there, which kind of led to this push down. Okay, and there's still a bit of a gap here as well, which is why I marked in this level yesterday as well. But look, it came up into the Tuesday, end of the day, astro hour right there. So the market pushing up. Now remember, I said yesterday we've got breakout happening, but it's going to end at the end of the day. Okay, and that's it. So now what? Well, now look, if I've got nothing until 7 o'clock my time, there you go. So what are you going to do now? Okay, well, what can you do? You got to mark yourself in. Where am I going to manage this trade? Okay, so your first stop is going to be there. So you need to start thinking about the market coming in here. If you're taking profit, this is where you need to start capturing some profit and moving your stop loss forward, and that's it. This is it. If it starts to sizzle down, which it should, why should it? Because we've got trend line liquidity. This thing needs to break. Okay, this thing needs to break because the stop losses are here. So what does that tell you? This says that I should even wait until, whoops, sorry about that. I should wait until this zone here. Okay, there you go. All right, so the market should push us down into this line zone here. All right, and that's cool. That's fine, because if you're sold, you should be doing fine. And then you can lock in some profit and so on. Now, if it breaks below this, goes back up into the astro hours, then you're going to have to smash it down. Okay, we're going to have to go with the flow. Why? Because if Tuesday really was correct in being the swing day, then a breakdown to pull up, to retest, fill in the gaps, and that's it. Now, where we're going to fill the gaps back in, if this thing smashes down, you see it's making gaps now. We want to come back, okay? And when it comes back to Father Christmas, you knock it down, all right? And that should be at an astro hour. So if it breaks down, we've got a good buy kiss happening here, then we should set it off, okay? And that's how it is. So this fast move is a sign that we're going to get somewhere where the market will want to start to pick up the buys a little bit. And this is exactly what's happening here right now, okay? So the early buyers, the early birds are coming in right there, which is just what I marked in a minute ago, okay? All right, that's it. But the market should break the trend line because everybody's stop loss is going to be really behind that. And this is your inducement. So we should tap down into this zone here, okay? Logically, that should be it. So if the early buyers are coming in, right, the only thing you want to check is, do we have an astro hour? We've got a light one at 9:25. So that's nice to know. But it's a light aspect. Okay. So here we've got a short-term changes sexy aspect. Okay. So definitely a place to be, locking in some profit or moving your stop and managing your trade. Okay. That's the beauty about financial astrology. And that's it. So make sure you knock your astro hours in here. Okay, so let's do that as well here and follow it through. All right. Let's take a look at Dow Jones. Oh, wait a minute. We haven't looked at the bigger time frame. Now look. Market fills in all the gaps, okay? This is from last week. Now, we had a Monday swing day, which is there. And I said Tuesday's a swing day, that's the high. So I said you could sell at the highs yesterday. That's it. Now, if this thing starts falling, the support is 56, 1.0794. Well, where's 1.0794? It's all the way down here. So 1.0794 is a natural target. And what does that tell you? That's going to take everybody's stop out. Okay, that's going to take everybody's stop out because these are the swings where everybody's got their stop losses. So the market will take them out. Okay, and that's your daily support. If anybody wants to buy the euro, that's the first spot. On the weekly, we are high there in this, we're in the highs there. On the monthly, we're also in the highs there. So if this thing is going to fall, okay, then from here it should. Okay, and then what? We should be ready to go long. Okay, why? Because it's a good impulse wave. Okay, so two things are going to happen here. The market's going to come down. The buyers are going to go in because we've got break of structure on the daily. All right, so they'll want to go further up. And then we've got the sellers coming in. And the sellers are thinking, well, wait a minute. Overall, the trend is down. Okay, because that's the weekly, right? So everybody's thinking, we're going down. Okay, and that's your trend line there. So that's where they sold off, right? So that is still what's supposed to be happening. And if I do that, that's also an option, but let's start from there. Okay, so that's a nice little sell-off. So if this sell-off works, we should come back down, and then it should even come lower down. Where to? Where we want to pick up the euro again is going to be right here. When can that happen? Spring next year. Okay, if it does, you know we're going long. All right, so let's take a look at that. So that's how we want to follow it down. We want to just bring it down. And then, and if I was to draw that on the daily as well, that would be the level there. Okay, so seeing these targets up ahead is really the way to go, because, well, if you can see these ahead, then you say to yourself, well, you know, we've got room to come down. So on every higher time frame, resistance and swing day, you can push it down. And this is the beauty about astrology and technical analysis. So you understand where things are going. And if we're right, it should sizzle down. So all we have to do is, once it breaks down, we should come to the 42.39 zone. Well, where's that? 1.056030. 1.0615. So from 1.0615 to 0530, we got room to come down. Okay, and that's your zone. See, look at that. That's the first zone where the early buyers are coming in. Okay, and that's it. So if Tuesday swing high for the euro dollar is correct, then selling at the highs of yesterday and the Asia session today is not a bad idea. The tricky thing is, we've got the hours in New York. So if you sold, cover the trade and wait. Let's take a look at US 30. Now with the US 30, remember, with the indices, I said, guys, indices go together. And I've got Dow Jones, SP 500, NASDAQ. And if you look at all three of them, they've got everything like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Any day could be a swing day, because all of them combined have got days on everything. So this is why I said it's a little tricky. Okay. But remember, Dow Jones was Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Okay. And this is your Monday. All right, so that's the swing high on a Monday. And that's one on Tuesday, retesting the high. This is an Astro hour. If you sold on that Astro hour, you should have taken some money off the table. If you sold at that Astro hour yesterday, you should have taken some money off the table. And if you sold at that Astro hour yesterday, you definitely should have taken even more money off the table. Okay, and that's your Astro hour, and the market's going up. Ta-da. Okay, now what? Now look, on the weekly we've got a breach, but we still haven't breached this 32,640. So the market on the monthly, come on monthly, he's got a down bar. This is pretty bearish, okay? As you can see, it's engulfing the previous one, and it's, you know, the month has gone lower. So what we want to do is any pull up, we want to be selling off. It's the 29th today. So we're going to be moving into a new monthly bar next week, because 1st of April is a Saturday. So on the weekly, we've got a bit of room that we can still sell off at. Okay. If you think about it, this is still a downwards motion, and we should make a lower low. Okay. So I'm thinking, you know, I've got a time period where I'm thinking the market actually should come down over the long term. So if it goes up to certain resistance levels, I'm going to be a seller. Okay. Now this is the weekly, and this is the daily. So this trend is still down. Okay. And I still have no reason to really doubt that it is going down. Okay. We've got a bit of a break of structure here, as you can see, but this was a sell zone anyway. The market sold off heavy. So This zone, if it holds or slightly higher at that level, which is what I've got here, all right? So this is 32,606. I said we should not go above this. If it does, don't stand in front of it. So this zone is already for us a limit. So if the market is high at these levels, you want to be selling. Now the market should come back down today. How should we know that? Because this is going to be your level. If the market wants to buy again, they'll want to do it here where we broke above here. If you look at that, the market has not closed above. Okay, it's come up, retested it, sold it. If it breaks above that, any pullback you want to do at Astro hours, the market will want to buy it to push up. And if it does, it'll start pushing up. So that 52 level, 32,586. 32,586 is here. All right, that's it. 32,586. Now look how this thing 32,586. Oh, there you go. Look how the market tapped in that yesterday and shot down at Astro hours, mind you. Beautiful. So retesting this is good. Maybe we'll go up and sweep the stops here and then sell off as well. But it's really important to understand that if it starts breaking above this, don't stand in front of it, because this daily will break out and the weekly is already broken out. Okay. And the only reason I'm okay to still sell it at an Astro hour is because 32,640 is here. All right, so we don't want to be going anywhere above that zone. All right, if it does, like I said, don't stand in front of it. And then what are you going to do? Well, we're going to have to wait for the market to come up into New York. Okay, so like I said, indices are a little tricky, but that's just how it is. Sometimes that's the way they are. All right, and that's it. Let's get rid of that. 32,640 is there. All right, so that's your zone. If they want to buy it, and if they're going to break it out, they're going to have to bring it down in the New York session. Okay, and this little jump is no surprise because I just said 925, didn't I? 925 is going to be on this bar here. Okay, but it's not a major aspect. Okay, so it's a mild aspect. And then we've got a pushy possible motion till 1240. So I'll just make that 1245. So we've got to wait and see, but the real swings should happen in the US session. All right, so don't get wasted in between, especially with the indices. Wait for it. Bitcoin, as you can see, going up, down, up, down, up, down. No big dramas. If it comes down, dips down again, we're okay to buy on the swing lows for Bitcoin. Okay, and that's basically, this is not a bad accumulation zone either. As you can see, the market's, you know, accumulating here, and which is fine, but when the move is done, we're not buying at the highs. Okay, on the 15th of January, I said you could buy beyond 15th of January, and if you did so, you would have been in the money already. So now you got to dip down and wait for those pullbacks to go back in on Dow.